Today I'm talking about 3 critical ways that we get stuck and the one remedy that you can apply to all 3 that'll help you move right on past them. So stay with me as we break barriers and build legacy. Let's go. Hey, it's Rob. Welcome back. Today I want to talk about some ways that we get stuck because it's really important to recognize them so that you can move past them. And I want to give you a remedy that you can use that's going to help you with all of this. So, what's the first one I want to talk about? I want to talk about perfectionism paralysis. Okay? Perfectionism paralysis. Now, you may have heard me before talking about the word perfect, and I don't subscribe to the same meaning as most people. But this video is not for me. It's for you. And probably when you think of something being perfect, you are thinking of it as being flawless, right? This can paralyze us because if things aren't flawless, if things aren't exactly the way we want them to be or exactly the way we think they should be, we will stop ourselves, right? A lot of times, that's one of the things that gets us hung up, one of the biggest ones. So here's my remedy for this. This is a really important concept is you need to define words in your own way. You need to choose your own definition of words. Don't buy into what everybody else says and what everybody else thinks. There's no reason to do that. You have the choice. You have the power. Now, I don't suggest trying to change the word the and the meaning of that in your own vocabulary, okay? You're going to confuse a lot of people. But what I do suggest is that you stop looking at perfect as being the equivalent of flawless. There are many definitions for perfect. If you go look in the dictionary, you're not even really making one up. You're just choosing a different one, okay? Flawless is only one definition of perfect. There are many. And perfect, to me, just means that everything is the way it should be. Everything is where it needs to be. Everything is how it is for a reason, right? And so that is, to me, the definition of perfect. Perfect, right? Everything is perfect because it's where it should be and it's how it should be. So therefore, I don't get caught up in paralysis because I'm worried about things being perfect. They already are, all right? So that's my way of tricking myself, if you want to call it that, but it's not a trick as much as it literally is how I redefined the word perfect for myself. That was not something that just happened. That was something that I put conscious, deliberate effort into day after day, time after time, and eventually I got to the point where now I don't think of perfect as being flawless. I think of perfect as being natural. I think of perfect as being things are where they ought to be, right? So, perfectionism paralysis, get rid of it any way you can. But to me, that was a very effective method. You may want to try it. Next up, your comfort zone. Your comfort zone really just defines your ceiling. You are stuck in your comfort zone. And being stuck in your comfort zone means that you are putting a self-imposed ceiling on yourself. You are putting self-imposed limitations on yourself. And that's the only way that limitations can really happen. All right? Now, there are some people who would argue with that and say, oh, we are limited by how long we can live. Okay, I get that. You're kind of trying to take it a little too literally in that case, okay? Yes, that's totally true. We are limited in how long we have on this earth. I'm not going to argue that. But while you're on this earth, you don't have to subscribe to other limitations. That's about the only one. The limitations of, here's one that people love to throw this one out. People can't fly. Ask the Wright brothers if people can fly, right? They were the ones who decided, you know what? People can fly and we're going to figure out how. Now, technically, it's an airplane that's flying and people are sitting in it. I get that. Again, you're getting too granular and too nitpicky with this, okay? What we're talking about here is mental barriers. You are imposing mental barriers on yourself. And you need to shed yourself of that behavior. You need to get rid of that idea that there are these limits on yourself. Get through that, bust out of that. And you do that by breaking yourself out of your comfort zone. I talk about that a lot. It's not an easy thing to do. And most people get to a point once they break out of their comfort zone where it's just too much and they turn right back to what they were doing. And guess what? Those people remain stuck. And guess what? That's not you. I know it because you're watching this video and you're here to take action. So take action by getting rid of your self-imposed limits. by pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and sticking through it and going through the points that are the most difficult to get to the other side. All right? Now, the third thing and the third way that we get stuck is we lack emotional mastery. All right? Wow, what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of us kind of push our emotions away, right? We don't want to feel them because we think that they're going to get in the way. It's important to understand they will get in the way if you run away from them. And if you allow them to, if you enable them, if you give them that kind of power, then yes, they will absolutely limit you and keep you down. All right? And so emotional mastery comes from understanding your emotions. It comes from, again, self-discovery. It's a process I talk about a lot, and it's a very necessary component to getting through to the next level and to breaking through. You have to understand where you are in order to move on to the next level. And that's a very important part of this, and that's why I always harp on self-discovery. Now, emotional mastery is difficult as well. It's not that these things are easy things to do, okay? But emotional mastery really is what gives you ultimate control. And this is the hack, and this is the solution, or this is the remedy to all three of these things. Perfectionism paralysis. What did I talk about? I talked about defining perfectionism, defining perfect in a different way, right? That is emotional mastery, okay? You're internalizing a different meaning to the word, so that when perfect comes up, you don't get stressed out, right? Emotion. You don't get stressed out thinking that everything has to be a certain way. Perfect means something different to you, right? That is emotional mastery. Your comfort zone, pushing yourself through your self-imposed limits, and when it gets really difficult, understanding that you're going to make it through to the other side and having faith that what you're doing is going to push you through to a breakthrough. That is emotional mastery. You don't get caught up in the highs and lows. You don't get caught up in the ebbs and flows, right? You go, and it doesn't matter what else is going on around you. You just go, right? That is emotional mastery. Emotional mastery is what breaks barriers. And until you have mastery of your own emotions, you're going to have a much harder time breaking through than if you are able to get in touch with those and you are able to honestly look at yourself and say, look, I am allowing this emotion to affect the way I'm thinking. I am allowing this emotion to affect what I'm doing, right? Until you sit down and you understand that and you categorize those things, you're going to have a hard time. You've got to face that type of stuff. And then you've got to understand, okay, I am allowing this emotion to change the way I think. I need to stop that. I need to get in the way of that. I need to choose differently. And instead of choosing based on emotion, I am going to choose based on the actions that I know are going to get me the success that I want to get. Right, so if you are interested in diving deep on any of this material and you are interested in working with me, you can head over to the website. It's www.yoursoulsource.com. There you can pick up my 3-day performance accelerator. All right, that is an intensive where I walk you through 3 days, an hour a day of some exercises. There's some videos in there. You have the MP3s for yourself as well, so you can listen to those on your commute. And again, it takes about an hour a day for 3 days. And then when you're done with that, you can come work with me one-on-one, and I'll give you a consultation, and we can talk about the specifics of your situation. But also, as you go through, you can email me as well, and I'll email you, and that way we can get to the bottom of what's going on and why you're getting stuck, and talk about some of the remedies that apply specifically to you. That's what I'm here to do. I want to help people. I want to get people unstuck faster and more effectively. That is why I do what I do. That is why I created this channel. And I want to help you as the next person to get unstuck and move through to the next level of success in your life. So that's it for this one. I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.